never should have been put in that spot in the first place.
Y'all, this girl Such a Craziness. I'm coming to you and you with another Word on the Street segment. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. So Ashlee Braxton, she has came back on the YouTube and she did a life update of what's been going on and how she's been taking things, especially since the whole thing done played out on the Braxtons. So in the video, she talks about how she took a break from social media, but she did want to come back and say thank you to the people that's been supporting her, through comments, through likes, hell, telling their own stories of their mistreatment that they had within their families. And she really appreciates them.
I appreciate you so much, way more than you know.
She also said, it got to be a lot, but that was to be expected, and that she really hopes by her speaking out prompted others to have a conversation with their families, and the families to provide a safe space to be able to hear out the one that got abused or mistreated and really listen to what they're saying and not judge them or put the blame on them or just don't talk to them, Trina. But yeah, and it is like a wake-up call for the Black community when we always try to sweep stuff up under the rug, like this stays in the family, don't let nobody else know about this, yada yada yada. And you can see how it can affect somebody's upbringing or hell, their mental state of mind, okay? And that we need to stop doing that.
It got to be a little bit, and that's to be expected for those of you who just think that I'm just chaos for this. And I did want to come back on and just say that I really hope that this prompted you to have a conversation with your own family and that you decided to give your family or your friends or whoever it is a safe space to be able to talk about this in these conversations, because we normally, typically, and I'm talking about from the African American community, we really decide to sweep these things under the rug, and we have to stop doing that, and we have to have these conversations, and we have to talk about these things in these situations. As much as sometimes I feel like it was negative, it was positive in the sense that we actually had these conversations. So that I'm really grateful for.
Then we get into the part of the video where she wanted to also let it be known that telling her story, it wasn't easy. She had to get the backlash from her family. She had to get backlash from people, that don't even know her in the comments. Granted, she did get a lot of support and stuff like that, but you're going to have people and their negativity and all of that. And she was saying how, stuff like this, it's like an onion. It comes within layers. When you're talking about it, just you talking about that one time, it's going to get messy. You'll probably say something that your family didn't want you to say, but hey, it's your truth at the end of the day, right? So yeah, you're just peeling back the layers.
Telling your story after being silenced is not an easy task. I wish that I could just beautifully talk about the situation, and it makes sense and everything, every piece is put together. It's not how it works. When you've been silenced and when you start telling your story, it's like peeling an onion. Sometimes the first time you tell the story, it's messy. Pieces aren't together, but you're finally using that part of your voice to start speaking. And then you peel the next layer off and it gets easier to talk about. So I wanted to showcase that in itself so that whoever is going through what I'm going through, whoever's been silenced, but they're learning to use your voice, you can understand too that it's not a journey that's just an easy journey. It's something that you have to work on and work towards. And the more you tell your story, the better you get to tell the story. I don't even know if I want to get into it all again, just because there's a lot of things that go into deciding to tell your story. When you decide to tell your story, it's going to affect somebody else, and someone else can feel hurt, and someone else can feel betrayed, and it can lead to so many things. But for me, I am so happy. I feel freer. My voice feels easier. My throat feels lighter. I don't know. I just feel like I don't have to carry this anymore because A, it was never mine to carry in the first place, but I just feel so much lighter. I just feel free, and I'm proud of myself actually for what I've done because it was not easy. It is not easy to do it, but it's also not easy to do it when your family is who they are with the platforms that they have, and then putting it on the TV show. And I also want to commend my own family for doing that as well, because we are really showing you like what is real life. This is real life. Families go through things. It's ups, it's downs. It's not always easy. It's not always a trajectory to the moon or at an incline of greatness. You have your ups and you have your downs. And so I also appreciate them for even putting it on the show. And as much as a bad rap that it's getting, I really hope, and I've seen that we're having these conversations about this topic.
But my thing is, why did it even have to come to the show? Like, this should have been handled within the family when it popped off. Because you even said they were cool for a minute and then it just went ghost. Like, such auntie, she really didn't want to deal with it and stuff like that. And I'm just like, this is your niece, for goodness sake. And you already knew how your ex-husband was doing out here in these streets and on the internet and all that. So, you know what? We're just going to get off that.
This was not the first time of me telling this story. This has been years. It started me telling this story when my sister passed away. So this is like years of me getting to this point, to this layer. I always stand true by what I said. I always stand true by what happened. I don't know if there was a right or wrong way, the way I handled it. I don't think that there was.
No, it wasn't a right or wrong way, because at the end of the day, it's the way that you saw best for you to handle it, okay? Because the incident happened, had some time pass, and you just like, look, I done went through my therapist, and I'm gonna get this off my chest. And with some people, you gotta go public with it because they can't feel where you coming from when you try to handle them in private. Granted, hey, some people, they can only feel when you coming at them in public because they worried about what other people gonna say about them or how another person gonna look at them in a different way. Like, yeah, you need to be looked at a different way because you let this go on for too doggone long. Period.
With what I speak with my therapist with, there was no right or wrong way to tell the story. I just had to tell the story. And I knew that I was going to get repercussions, and I knew that I was going to get backlash, and I knew that I wasn't always going to be supported, but it wasn't about anybody else. It was all about me. And now there's this part of me that's just prepare my body for kids, that I just get to pass on a legacy to my kids where I'm not holding on to that anymore. It's not inside of me. It doesn't live within me. And I always want my kids to have something better than what I had. Truly, I've forgiven everybody in this situation. It's something that for me is in the past. I believe that a lot of people were hurt. I'm not the only victim in this situation. But I just really hope that if you're a mom, if you're an aunt, if you're a woman, that you can make the choice to just listen to the other person or the child actually in this situation, because it was a child, that you're able to sit with the child, give them a safe space to talk, listen to them, and make a judgment of how to handle the situation that gives the child safety.
Now, she did say that for her situation, she didn't feel safe within her family. She just wasn't safe at all. And, she had to seek therapy and stuff like that. And I think that's why she moved out the States as well, especially when her sister had passed. But, yeah, she goes to say she doesn't want another woman to go through what she went through, especially when it's a child. Okay, whether you 16, 5, or 3, still a child. And Gabe was old enough, allegedly, that was, the person, was old enough to know right from wrong. Period, point to the blank. And, she's just glad that she was able to tell her story, especially for the voiceless, the unheard, and that she hoped that her story helps other kids or, even adults be able to speak out. Don't be silent. Yes, it's going to be a tough road, but for a peace of mind, definitely tell your story. Tell your story. Let somebody hear it. If they don't hear it, go to somebody else. Somebody is going to be like, okay, we need to figure out what the heck is going on. As well as, seek God. Seek Him. Lay all your burdens on Him. Okay? But y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section below, and I'll see you on the next one.